Why, hello there, dear people. Welcome back from all around the world, wherever you are, and whatever project you're working on. I hope it's going well, and I hope you're enjoying your time with Lord Fishy. Right. So, last time we were here, we made a snowman for whatever reason to go into our cart, but I feel like some people who are watching the series are waiting for a Santa, so we're gonna attempt to make that now. Um, I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna get this going, but I've never done a Santa. But as you know, I usually have my own little way of figuring shit out. So, anyways, let's get started. Pardon my language, guys. I didn't mean to be so rude. I meant stuff. Figure stuff out. Um. All right. Like always, we'll start with the cube, like we always do. You're probably thinking, well, that doesn't make the most sense, but it will. It will. Go into edit mode with tab. Control B. Let's switch our shaders. If we can see it a little bit better. Let's add some bevel lines. Go to 6. Click off. Oh, we'll undo that and redo it with the more bevels for it's a little bit rounder. And stop when you think it's pretty round. Out of edit mode. Okay, this will be our first starting point. So maybe we'll just shift D and we'll move that up. Okay, so this is going to be this midsection. And as we know, we'll go this way for wide. We'll make it this way. Something like that. And then we'll shift D this guy again. And we'll come down and we'll give him a little pot belly with this guy. Bring it up a little bit. Sink it back in a little bit. It's just a little pot belly. I don't know if that looks good or not. Obviously, we do want to cover it up with clothes anyways, but maybe we won't bother. That doesn't look very good. Let's do a neck, though. And we're going to go S, shrink it right down, and then we're going to stretch it out just the one way, like that. Where it takes all our edges and hides it in the middle. And then we'll S until we're happy with the size of our neck. You can go a little fatter, big old fatty Santa neck. And again, I don't know how I'm going to do this yet, but we'll figure it out. We always do, right? Okay, so we got head, we got neck. It's basically the right shape, I think. One thing we will do is probably thin it out a little bit like that, because human heads aren't obviously exactly symmetrical. Something like that. And you can boost it up again if you want. I think that's about right. Looks more like a face now. Alright. Let's steal this piece, Shift D it. And we are going to rearrange it to make it an arm shape. Now, obviously, this is going to be a low pixel, low poly version of your Santa, but I honestly don't think that you're going to need to go hardcore on it for an event or something like that. Like, you were going to use it for a couple days and then it's going to probably be gone in your game, so you can take a little more time and make it a little more high poly if you'd like, or whatever you need to do. Now, I've realized two things about models lately. Is it's either best to put them in one of two poses: a T pose with their arms straight out, or an A pose with their arms kind of in the shape of an A, basically. We'll probably go in a T pose today just to simplify things, and hopefully that works for whatever game engine you're using. But if it doesn't, just do what you need to do. If your arms need to be a different shape, you go ahead and make them that shape. Just gonna shrink that down a little bit and stretch it out, because as they get smaller, Probably going to taper a little bit. Something like that. Have to guess at the length a little bit. Maybe we'll shrink this guy a little bit. Move him in and him in. Like that. But it looks like a joint to me. When you're happy with the shape, and obviously I'm not going to take too much time because I'm giving you an example, but when you're happy with the shape and the length of the arm, that might be a bit long because we still need a hand, right? So maybe we'll do that actually, and just push it in a little bit like that. Okay. I'm going to Shift D again. And this time, we're going to make a shape of a palm. Maybe a little fatter, like so. But pretty flat in general. And then probably just not quite as long. And then we'll just go ahead and punch this in here. It's kind of hard to see like this. Try moving myself around a little bit. You take your time and pause the video if you need to while you get yourself situated. Just make sure you're comfortable working the way you are. There's a couple different ways we could do this hand. I'm probably going to do... Yeah, I'm probably going to do a little more round. Pump that in there, and then we're going to Shift D it again. I'm trying to keep this shape on its original axis for when I move it around and stuff, it doesn't give me too much troubles. So I'm going to shrink this to the size of what I want my fingers to be. Something like that. Okay. Maybe not. Oh, you know what? Let's copy it. Shift D. Let's do all of our fingers here first. Let's move this one over as far as we can. And then Shift D. See how many fingers we can comfortably get in here. Next one's a little longer. Shift D. Next one's just a hair longer. And Shift D. This one's just a hair shorter. We should be able to shuffle them around and get them all in there actually. I think something like that. And then we'll just take our thumb and we will figure out the right angle. I think it's red X. Nope, that's wrong. There's one person who always advises me cosplay design. He always tells me look at the top, but I still can't tell. I don't know how to tell. Alright, so that's probably going to be like a 45 or something. Okay, minus 45. Yeah, something about that. And we'll run that in for a while until we're happy. So have a look at it. Are you happy with the hand shape? Do you like it? If you're happy and you like it, clap your hands. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to do a few things. We're going to make this one. Control J. But we're not going to make the rest of the pieces. And the reason is we're going to transfer it over to the other side and we're going to have to spin these pieces. So I'm going to Shift D this. And then I'm going to figure out, right click if you want to cancel something, what the other side is, and it's this one. So I'm just going to go like that. And then I've got to figure out what its right basis is and do that. So now our hand's on the other side. It's just spun around, okay? Shift D on this guy. And I think it was the second one, so we'll do a minus there. Shift D on this guy. Minus here, okay? So now we have our hand perfectly assembled on the other side as well. Okay, and he's in a perfect T-pose. We've got our perfect hands. Everything looks perfect. Oh, these are backwards, aren't they? 180 here, maybe? I think that's right. Just not sure. I think that's the right one. Alright, I think so. I think we're good anyways. Just maybe make sure if you're worried about, but I'm pretty sure I put them right in the middle either way, so it should be fine. So I'm going to attach the hand to the elbow to the forearm, and then we're going to Control J. And if you need to adjust the proportions probably before you join would be a good time. So go back if you need to. But I think it's good. Santa's going to have some big old flabby arms for me. So I won't attach anything else for now, but let's keep going. Do his legs. Shift D on that to copy it. And then I'm going to stretch it out, shrink it down until I'm happy around with the size. I'm going to bump it over to one side, probably up a little bit. Maybe we'll, let's go a little higher, like that, probably. And we will do a 5-degree angle, leaning the bottom forward. And then we will Shift D it, and we will erase that, go straight down, and then do -5. So it's the opposite as the top one. So essentially, it should I go the right way there? I don't think I did. Let's go like that. Was that right? No. -5 there, and then +5 down here. Sorry, I had that messed up. Looked like it turned the right way, but looking closer, I realized it didn't. Bottom one I'm going to shrink a little bit because it's going to be smaller. It's going to be his lower leg, so we're going to make like a knee joint type thing, like there. Maybe make this one a hair thicker, and then not so long, so it's more stubby. Just try to find the right proportions. When you're happy with both, we'll Shift D, we'll move down to the foot, and then we'll take the angle off of it, and we'll move this down. Actually, should I make a new piece for this? I'm not sure. I'm just thinking in my head here. We should, I guess, technically, because everything is going to be rounded except for the bottom, and this piece is completely rounded. So let's delete this piece, and we will Shift A, and we will actually use a real cylinder. No, we won't. We'll use a cube. We can't use a cylinder because we're going to need to shape every side except for one edge. Sorry. We're almost able to use a cylinder there for once. So I'm just going to click off the certain edges on the bottom. I don't know how I clicked off that one. So just want to be off the ones on the bottom, then Control B. I'm in edit mode, of course. And something like that. And hopefully we'll be able to do it in one piece, but I don't know for sure. We might have to use a couple pieces to make this shape. Okay, and then I go something like this. Something like that. Stretch it out a bit, maybe. Let's get in there and go down. Kind of looks like a brick type thing. Probably need one more piece for it, I'd imagine, to make like a high top part for it. You can go ahead and put that on if you want and just use it like this. But I think I'm going to make a second piece for it. I'm not exactly sure what, but just to kind of make it look better. Let's think about that. I don't know what would be the best shape either. I don't really know what's going to look good, so I'm just going to use a cylinder again. I don't make a lot of shoes, and usually I don't pay a lot of attention to them because it's probably the last thing people are going to look at on your NPC, right? But we will do it this time because we're making a big fancy... Oh, he's got boots, doesn't he? Santa's got big old booties. Let's go to edit mode and go to faces. And we'll make this a boot. I didn't even think of that. Not good with Santas, I guess. We'll do this. I'll grab both of those and we'll just move them into place. So it's centered on his foot. Yeah, and then we got a big old boot. I think that looks pretty good. You can change it accordingly if you don't agree with me, if you want to make it a little different. You could also do is take this one, Shift D it, and then hit S just a hair. And you could actually take that shape out of there if you want to, for you could see a little gap in the boot basically. honestly don't care that much. I don't think it's going to matter that much, so I will probably just undo it. But you can if you want to. Then I'll take this extra one and just delete it before we're back to scratch. Okay. So I think that's good for me. If it's good for you guys, go ahead and copy it all. Actually, let's go from the top down to the bottom because the bottom ones don't have an angle on them. Then Control J, just for when we go to move them, if we want to move them at all. It doesn't get on a weird axis because it's not moving on a weird axis. And it's the second one here, so we'll just minus the erase part, or the minus part. And we have one Santa, and he's looking pretty good. Again, you could add some more detail, but maybe we'll get to that when we get to the painting part of this. But he looks pretty darn good to me so far. Maybe we will do a nose next. So let's make a cube. Maybe we, yeah, let's do his nose first. There's a lot of different ways to make a nose, so if you have one that you already like and you don't like my method, feel free to use your own method. I use a method that I've been using to make a couple different noses. Hopefully it works for you. Again, if it doesn't, you just go ahead and do whatever you think would be best. So what I would probably do is something like this. Then I grab that edge and I dissolve it. Okay. And I grab this edge and I'd move it to the middle-ish. That's off, obviously. And when I'm happy with where it is, I would probably take this edge and shrink it. Something like that. Then I take the whole thing probably, so I click off, hit L, Control B. And you can see it kind of start to cross over at one point. Maybe if we do help with the angle and it won't be so intense maybe. So I'm just going to L over it again, Control B. Not sure I like that. Okay, maybe we won't do that. I usually do something like this for the nose. Just kind of like this. And then I'll shrink it down. Doesn't have to be exact, it just kind of has to look like something like a nose anyways. And when you're happy, big old fatty Santa nose. You know what, should we do this a different way? I think I could do this a better way. I'm going to try a different way. Sorry about that, guys. But we're trying to do like a cute Santa type guy, so we don't want him to have a big hideous NPC nose. How can I do this better though? I don't always know the answers, but remember, just gotta keep on thinking, using your head, and trying different things. Eventually something's gonna come to you that's gonna work. Sorry, I'm gonna go to edit mode. Nope. And hit L over the whole thing and Control B it maybe. If I Control R and put that in there. I'm just messing around trying to find the right shape. The nose is pretty hard if you want it to actually be a decent nose. Maybe we'll just try pulling this out a bit. Like so. Just the one side though this time. Control B it. Something like that. I think that's pretty good. It's a little more, maybe actually let's go back and let's do one more thing just to give it a bit better of a nose shape. So grab that edge and shift grab that edge and let's just drag them back. Okay, just to give it more of a lean back there. And sorry about the struggle again. I didn't think this one out. I don't think any of them out. We got to do it together. It's the best way. It's how I feel. Something like that. Shrink it down until we're happy. Maybe we want to go a little less side to side. So something like this. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad actually. I think we're going to go with something like this. Maybe we'll stick it out a little bit more. Go more narrow. Well, anyways, mess around with it till you get the right shape of the nose that you're going for. I'm gonna go with that. Looks pretty good, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. S, shrink that down, move it out, move it up, move it over, move it down, around where you want your Santa eye to be. And as you can see, there's a bit of an oval, so we're just gonna do that to make it more of a circle again. And then S again, probably something like that. And we're just going to move it halfway in, halfway out, like so. I'm just making sure that was exactly in the center. Shift D it, and we're going to do the same on the other side. Actually, let's delete that. And should we color it for when we color the other side? They're already done. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Okay, let's do that. So it's going to be a really big pain in the butt to try to color them after we set them in and stuff like that. We can always just pull them in and out, but it'd be easier to do it right now. So I'm just going to go with color shader. And we'll do new. And we'll go, yeah, that's, oh. There we go, it took a minute for some reason. And we'll do a little yellow like that. Make sure we're in edit mode. We'll hit assign. Something like that. And then we will grab it like, let's say halfway up or so with faces selected. And just hit control. Maneuver yourself over close enough to it. And hit control. And now I'm going to try to box grab, so I'm going to just hold shift and drag my mouse out like this. If I could try to box grab a bunch of these. And now that I'm sure, oh, make sure you have all of them in that top half. We're going to make that more of a skin color. So like a pinky, orangey, something like that. Okay. And then we're going to make Santa's eye. That's actually center, I think. So maybe we'll do just that. Push new. And we'll make that black. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Looks pretty good to me. Hopefully it looks pretty good to you. I can see the eyes a bit stretched that way. Do a little bit less like that. Guess it's more like this is what we want for a human-shaped eye, right? Something like that. And it's just going to make it a little easier to color these first, so I'm just going to put this on a bit of an angle. We'll figure out what our right angles are. And that's definitely not it. Oh look, he's looking down. So it's going to be minus 15. Or 20. Minus 20 we'll go. Okay. And then we will shift E. And we will do plus 20. And we'll take the minus out of this one to make it exactly symmetrical. Okay. So now we have two good eyes. Okay. Go back to the other one if you like, just for we're able to see a bit better. Got a few different ways we could do his mouth, but I'll do it one way, and then you can decide if you want to find a different way to do it. If you'd like to do it slightly different, that's completely fine. Just pause the video, obviously. Boy, our NPCs ever hard, aren't they? This Santa he's a little bit hard to do. But I'm glad we did it, I guess. It'll be done. So what do I want to do next? Make a new shape. Make a mouth shape, which will be a cube. Because it's always a cube. Cubes are the best. Alright. Start off by making the backside smaller. So his mouth funnels. And then we'll work on the front shape of his mouth. Oops. We'll just go down the one way. Now let's go right down the other way like that. So I think that's basically what we want. You're going to have to decide how open his mouth you want him to be. If you want it to be wide open because you're going to make him talk, or if you just want it to be a slit, you're going to have to decide. Oops. I meant to be out of edit mode when I move that. So out of edit mode, we'll slide that in. You know what, just to make it a little better, let's go back. I'll Control R in edit mode, and we'll just let that center itself. Okay, and then click off everything. We'll click on here, and we'll click on here, and we'll just shrink them a bit. Okay, and like that. Then we'll bring them up. Okay, and now Santa has a wonderful, cheery smile. All right. So probably wind that right in like that. Decide where you want his mouth to be. Maybe you want his nose to be a little lower like this. Maybe both eyes a bit too, like that. This a bit higher. Because once you bool this out, that's what shape's going to be there, so make sure it's where you want it. And it's the shape you want your mouth to be. So I'm going to... yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bool that shape out. Alright, so we did it. Looks pretty good. He's got a pretty good mouth shape. Just going to go to the coloring part real quickly. We're going to do new. Gonna make this that same skin tone type thing we did before. Somewhere in there. Kind of like the eyes. Okay. And then we're gonna do plus new. And we should be able to make this one red. And it should just do his mouth for us. Oops. Changed the wrong one. Oh, I changed the wrong one. I meant to change this one. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, now he's got a big mouth there, a big red color in the inside. Looking pretty good, guy. My guy. Alright. Now let's see. We got arms, we got legs. What else does Santa need? Really? What does Santa really need, guys? Probably a stupid hat, so let's do that. Let's give him a big old hat. And we'll do that by making a cube. I might stop after this. We might have to come back and do another one. If I go too long, you guys start getting bored by the end, and then nobody wins, so I don't want to bore you guys. Do something like that. And then I'll click off. I'll do L over the whole thing. I think I got it. Control B. Nope. I'm not in edit mode. Push L over the whole thing. Then Control B. How can I do this? Okay, let's make his hat more pointy. So I'm just going to take out... Let's go to edges. And take out that one and that one. Let's dissolve them and see what happens. Alright. I'll grab the top of the point here. And we will center it as best as we can, hopefully. Oh boy. Why did it give it 3 points? That went wrong. Let's go back. Take out one. Still 4 points on the bottom. Okay, let's do it this way then. And we still got all our 4 points. Sorry about that, guys. Figure it out together like always. So I'm going to go close to a point, but not quite. And then we will move it over so it's more in the middle. Make sure it's centered as best as you can. Now, we'll grab this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, all the bottom edges, and hopefully this will work. I don't know. Control B it. Yeah, looks like it's getting messed up at the top. How can I do this? Okay, let's do these bottom edges first, because they need to go more. Control B them. Something like this. Okay. And then maybe grab these edges. We'll see what we got after. It might not look good. I'm trying to figure this out. That actually doesn't look too bad, but it doesn't look too great either. It's pretty wrong at the same time. Yeah, let's undo that. Let's delete this. We'll stop after this. Sorry about the delays, guys. Again, I figure it out with you, so it makes it a little harder sometimes. But I don't want to be that guy who just comes in and just slams it together and makes it look like it's no problem. This stuff's super hard. And it takes a lot of time and creativeness, so you're going to have to take your time. Okay, let's try it this way. Should I do that? No. Do this too. No. So we don't want that to be round. Sorry, just bear with me. So I guess this is essentially what we'd want. And then we just take the top, shrink it super small. Oh yeah, that's way better. Damn, I don't know why this was so hard for me. Before we do that, I'll Control D, Shift D, sorry. Not Control, but Shift, and we'll shrink that way down. We're just going to make a piece for the bottom of this. And don't worry about the size right now, we just want to get the look, and then we'll shrink it and make it fit them afterwards. And I know that kind of looks like a top hat, but we'll fix her up. Just want to be a bit bigger like that. Okay? Alright. So, first off, let's get this piece finished. So we'll S that now. Right. We'll take this, Shift D it, move it down, and we're going to do this twice. So Shift D it again. Once with this, we'll object bool difference, and then we'll grab it a second time, and we'll grab the top piece, and we'll object bool difference. And that way the holes are perfectly in sync. Okay? So, now we have a crested little elfy looking hat, which we're going to use for Santa. But we need one more thing. Oops. What else do we need? We need a little ball for the top, but you can go ahead and attach these if you want. Control J. And we'll just shrink it down and then stretch it up to make it more of a Santa hat. Okay, and we'll grab it. Maybe it needs to be a little bit bigger. Kind of looks like a wizard's hat now, but I think you get the idea. You can adjust the height and stuff if you need to. Okay. Also, we're going to have some sort of Santa hat hair in there, so maybe we'll make it a little bit bigger. Let's grab this tip, though. Let's just drag it off to one side. Oh, what the heck? Oh, the inner one. Oh my god. So you're probably going to have to try to see if you can get the inner one too, apparently. Oh my god, I cannot see it. And if I just double click there. No. So what that is the other side of the hole, so we'll just have to adjust that over a bit too after, for it kind of goes with the hat. But that's fine. Just want to give it a bit of an angle to kind of make it look like it wasn't perfectly symmetrical. Maybe that looks bad though. It does kind of look bad. So that might not be the best move. Just adjusting the hat here to try to give it a better look. Struggling with this a bit. Okay. We'll shift A. Get another cube. Pull it up to the top. Go into edit mode. Control B. Perfectly round. Out of edit mode. Shrink it down. Okay. I think Santa's got this thing on his hat. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. Not the biggest Santa guy out there. I'm not really a big fan of Santa, so let's see. Let's go with that. You do you if you have a better idea. I don't know what Santa's hair really looks like, so we're gonna have to work on that. We're gonna have to make him a beard. Maybe we will do that real quick, or try to. Let's move this to his face and kind of mimic the shape of a beard, or if we can. So first off, let's make it super skinny. Like that. Okay. Put the size of his face-ish. Maybe this way a little bit. And we'll move it down and in. So kind of got an idea what we need to do now. So let's go down here because we know. Let's control R here. We know that it's going to have to be shaped at some point. Grab these edges. Wait. Let's grab these edges down here. Okay. And let's shrink them first to give us a nice taper and our nice little beard there. And then let's grab these upper edges with it and Control B. And give us a nice little facey mustache, or sorry, beard shape there. And it's looking pretty good. Maybe a little thinner. And then we just kind of need to rip out the shape of his mouth out of it. So let's just Shift D, I guess. And we'll stretch that out. We'll shrink it down. We'll shrink it down to around the shape of a mouth. Maybe a little bit that way. Okay. And then we'll move it up and try to line it up with where we think his mouth should be. We can move the beard a little bit if we have to. And make sure the beard's popping through both sides. And we'll pull one from the other. Alright. Looking good. Just move that up a little bit so you can see his mouth a little bit better. Maybe we'll sink this into his face a little bit more, like so. Oh, that's kind of cool looking. His lips just coming through. How about that? Oh, that looks even better. you might have to mess with it to get the look you're going for. We're gonna have to figure out some other stuff, but maybe we'll stop there. We got pretty far anyway, so what did I do there? There we go. We just need to do some ears, some hair, and basically some coloring, and I think our Santa's pretty much ready to go with the game. Obviously, it's low poly, so if you want to make a better one, just do the same thing and take your time a little more. Do things a little better, right? This is just an example, and I hope it's helped you all today, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd like to tell you guys that my game's out on Steam, and I just released a Discord for it as well. So if you guys want to join me in Discord, you can ask about Blender things if you really like. The Discord's actually for the game, though. But in an emergency, you can get a hold on me for Discord stuff or Blender stuff. But thanks for watching. Make sure you like, make sure you thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, all that stuff. And we'll probably see you next time. We'll do some color on Mr. Santa.